Hi everyone and welcome to LifeTech's webinar on hygiene equipment for paediatrics. So who is LifeTech? We are a social enterprise that provides information, education and advice on all sorts of assistive technology. So we aim to help people choose the most appropriate assistive technology to make everyday tasks safer and easier at home, at work or in the community. So looking at all sorts of different environments. So assistive technology is any device, system or design that allows an individual to perform a task they would otherwise be unable to do. So we put an emphasis on functional independence, safety and well-being. So we're just going to show you a range of different things that we can help people with. So this slide here demonstrates a group of men playing wheelchair basketball. So we can look at different options for wheelchairs depending on what the clients are using them for. So these ladies here have got large print playing cards, so good for people with low vision, but also people with poor dexterity and who are otherwise unable to hold the cards. You can also see that they've got the cards in a card holder, so it saves them having to hold the cards in their hands. So at work, so there's lots of different environments we need to consider. So work is one of those really important ones, especially for adults. In relation to children, we'd be looking more at the school environment. But things like computer access and lots of different other tasks that might be involved throughout the day. So these boys here are sharing an iPad, so looking at communication aids for the child that blend in with the environment but also provide that means of communication. So this man here is using a transfer board to get in and out of a car, so looking at where they're going throughout the day and what activities the person is doing. This one here shows a large print telephone, so the person's got large buttons with very contrasted numbers. So if they're having trouble seeing the numbers, they can see them a lot easier. It also shows the 6 options at the top, which have the pictures of a person. So these are just like speed dial, so a person can press the picture and then be put through to that person's phone. And sometimes the simplest ideas are the best. So this lady here is putting on her socks independently using a sock donor. So we are the leaders at the forefront of assistive technology. So we do this a number of ways. So through education, through research and through partnership. We have lots of health professionals on staff. So we have lots of occupational therapists. And we also have access to physiotherapists and a speech pathologist in our Brisbane office. So even though we don't have access to one of these in our Townsville office, we can utilise their skills via WebEx and lots of other telehealth consults and things like that. So we have interactive display centres, we have an inquiry line, we have outreach services and we have education, which we'll go through a little bit further. So our display centres. So we have a display centre in both Townsville and the Newmarket in Brisbane. So at these display centres we have over 1,500 items on display, so people can actually browse through the display and have a look at different areas of their home. They might walk through a kitchen, through a bathroom and through a lounge room, for example. We also have access to a database of over 14,000 items on that database. So we don't sell any assistive technology. We don't hire or anything like that as well. We're purely here to help people enable themselves to make the best choice in assistive technology. And if they do find something they like, we can talk about funding options or where they can go to buy it themselves. So we provide free advisory services. So this is from Monday through to Saturday. People can phone off our inquiries line on that 1300 number, or they can pop into the display centre in Townsville and Brisbane. So we provide advice once again to community events and expos, to individuals, carers and their families, to community groups, to health service organisations, pretty much anyone. We did free community presentations, so these can be on things like rape gadgets, low vision, mobility, falls prevention or anything else. We can tailor it to suit specific groups. So we do outreach, so at least once a year to all regions across Queensland. So on our outreach trips, we can provide the same services as we do face-to-face in one of our centres. So we can do presentations and talks, we can do advisory consultations, or we can do one-on-one opportunities with clients. And our advisory service is free. So we also do private assessment and prescriptions. So that's things like equipment prescriptions and funding submissions, home visit assessments, your falls assessments, DDA assessments, and education and training services. So during our education and training, we do things like workshops and product updates, your skill updates, webinars, and customised education packages. So you can hop on our website and have a look at our quarterly review, our free fact sheet, our free product search, and our outreach and education calendars. And that's our website there down the bottom. So I'll just talk briefly about the PEO model before we get into it. The PEO model is a person, environment, occupation model. And basically it's just talking about looking at all areas of a person's life when considering a piece of equipment. So for example, for the person, we're going to look at all the factors that relate to them. So what are their strengths and weaknesses? What are their goals? What's their diagnosis? We're going to look at the person's environment. So making sure, for example, if the child has a family that shares the same bathroom, if the equipment is able to be moved out of the way so other family members can access this environment. But then looking, of course, at the child's school, their home, all that sort of thing. And of course their occupation, so looking at what their goals are with the equipment and what they're planning on doing with it. And in the centre there you can see occupational performance. So when you get all those three things right, there will be an overlap, and that's where the person will be able to complete the activity successful using the equipment. So some figures. So there's approximately 220,000 Australian children. So about 8.3% of all children under 14 years are reported to have a disability. So 10% of all those children with disability are boys, and 6.5% are girls. In Queensland alone, there's 57,000 children with disabilities. So today we're going to look at hygiene around children. So we're going to look at things like bath support, shower support, toileting options, change tables, and other aids. So not only to do with the child, but also to help the carer. So how do you choose the best piece of equipment? So there's a few questions that you can actually look at asking yourself before you even start, such as, what is the current bathroom setup like? So obviously if they have a tub, then this is going to change the options, or if they have a shower, this is going to change the options. How will the child be placed into and out of the equipment, and what strain does this put on carers? So how much support does the child need? Do they just need a little bit of support to stay upright, or do they need a lot of support? What is the budget? So can they afford two separate pieces of equipment or just the one? And also, is there any funding available? And what will the child and carer need to be able to do while they're using the equipment? So just a safety alert before we get started. So it's important to note to never leave a child unsupervised while using a bath aid. So they're there to provide additional support for a child and not as a safety device. So children have drowned while using bath aids without proper supervision. So it's always important to have your child within arm's reach. And if you do have something with suction caps, to ensure they're properly fixed to the surface before putting the child in the device. Okay, so getting started, we'll start with baby baths. So we're going to talk about a range of commercially available and also specialised equipment on the market. So baby baths, these two here, we've got the First Year Shore Comfort Tub. So that one there is a convertible tub, so for young children, so newborn up to probably 6 months. So it's got a sling on there, so that's great for a newborn as they can be suspended just gently into the water. And then that sling can actually be taken away as the child grows. So you can see once the sling's taken out, the bath actually has some options built in for adjustment. So you can actually adjust the backrest and a knee brace in there for the child. The Prince Lionheart wash pod, that one there is very similar to a bucket. So it's a long cylindrical sort of bath that has some rubberized padding down the bottom to help position the child. So the child is in a more upright position when they're bathing, with their head well above water. So it's really important when looking at bathing, especially a newborn or a very young child, to remember the carer to look after their back. So simple things such as placing the bath on top of the bench so it's at a better height for the carer, or looking at it as a proper bath stand like the white one over there. The other thing a carer can do is looking at a perching stool, so they can pop the child at a good height and then sit down to help bath them. So some bath chairs with some minimal support needs. So these ones here, there's a couple of commercially available ones, like the Infinelli. So that one there does up to 10 months. So that one has adjustable components, so it grows with the child. So you can see down the bottom, there's actually a bit that goes in between the legs that you can move up and down. So that option over there is providing a bit of lateral support. It's providing head support so the child can recline back, and also some support within the legs. The Infant Baby Ace bath chair down the bottom, that one there you can see is actually adjustable, so you can have the child sitting up or you can recline them back. So that's really good because once again it does grow with the child, so you can start them reclined and then move them up as they grow older. But then you can also look at doing different tasks while they're reclined, such as washing their hair. The R82 Penguin, so that one there does up to 18 months, but it's very similar to the Infinelli, as in it grows with the child with the adjustable component down the bottom there, and then it's also got a little bit more contoured lateral support and their head support as well. So moving up to some bath chairs with moderate to complex support needs. So these ones here is the Otter and the Ripton Blue Wave. So you can see these ones have a little bit more adjustment in them, so they have the ability to recline and tilt the child into a backwards position. So up the top, they've got a couple of head blocks to help position the child's head, but then there's also positioning straps along the length of the device. So these ones here have the option of a bath stand or to be placed directly on the floor of the bath. So obviously the bath stand is going to raise them up a little bit higher than the water, but still allows the carer access to the bath. So some bath chairs with some adjustable components. So these ones here have a lot more adjustability. So for a child with higher spasticity or fixed postures, these are a really good option. So there's a couple of different brands available. So the Lecky, the R82 and the Columbia, they're available in numerous different sizes, and some of them do right up to adulthood. So you can see that you can place them in numerous different postures and help to adjust it to suit the child. They still have the positioning belts, and some of them have the hip locks as well. There's some bathtub only options. There's a Columbia wraparound, so that one does from 5 years to adulthood. So you have a few different configurations available. So they sit in the bottom of the bathtub. They provide lateral support. The one up the top there has also got a 4-point harness to help strap the child in. And the one down the bottom has a hip positioning belt, so you can actually help position the child in a good functional position. The Gellert Kiwi bath lift, so that one does up to 30 kilos. So basically you can see it's got a nice big handle that's moved to lower the child into the bathtub. So the child is positioned into the sling and strapped in, laying flat along the top of the bathtub, and then the carer can lower them into the bath. So basically the lower side of that sling, so their bottom will go into the bath or their head will stay above. The glider size, so it's available in 2 sizes, so it does right from 2 years right up to adulthood. And you can see that one there's got a few different adjustable components. So the backrest reclines, and there's also a leg section that can come up to help support the child. And basically it's a mobile mode, so they can wheel it up to the bathtub, connect it to the track, and then the child can transfer over the hob into the bath. So some bath chairs on shower basins. So you saw a couple of slides before, there's the Ripton and the Otter. These ones are also available with a shower base. So it means that the carer can wheel the child through the bathroom, and they can have them at a better functional height, so they're not leaning over to attend to the child's hygiene. The ones down the bottom, once again, are the reflex bather and the Lecky Advance. So those are the ones with the more adjustable positioning. You can see by the shape of the base, some of them do take up a little more space than others. So if they are restricted by space, it's really important to get the right specifications and compare them to the current bathroom. So some pediatric bath suites. So this one here is the Mangal Surfer Bather. That does from 5 to 12 years. So that one there is operated via a battery pack, and basically it just lowers the child in and out of the tub. So you can see once again it's got some positioning belts along the length of the bather as well. So it's really important to consider transfers in and out of the bath, and this will vary upon the child's age and also their abilities. But I guess starting at the really simple things like bath steps. So those ones there, there's Homecraft Savannah bath steps. Those ones are actually modular, so you can stack them on top of each other to get a good height for the child. So they've also got a non-slip surface on top and a large surface area, so it means that the child has room to manoeuvre if they need to. So they can be configured in any way that will work with the child. The Kidco bath safety rail, so that one there actually attaches over the edge of the bathtub via suction cap and just provides a little bit of support and guidance to a child transferring in and out of a bath. So this is going to reduce the reliance on carers and give the child a little bit more independence. So a few more different options available. These ones are manufactured for adults, but obviously can also be used for children as well. So things such as the bath board, so these sit over the top of a bath and they allow a child to sit on the edge, swing their legs over and then shuffle across. So obviously a child needs very good balance and coordination for this one. The swivel bath chair, so it's a very similar concept. So basically it'll swivel around, the child can sit on and off the bath chair, and then there's a lever the child can pull to rotate themselves around and into the bath. That one there provides a little bit more back support as opposed to something like a bath board. And the tub transfer bench. So that one there, it sits half in, half out of the bathtub, and once again, the child can rotate the seat to sit on the outside and then slide themselves across the track into the bath. So some safety devices. So obviously it's really important to ensure the safety of a child while in the bathtub. Scalds are really common things that do happen, and 90% of all scalding happens in the bathroom. It's important to note as well, a child who's placed in 60-degree water can actually burn within 1 second. Whereas if the water is at 50 degrees, it actually takes 5 minutes. So it's really important, where possible, to have the water checked by a plumber and see if they can actually reduce the maximum temperature of the water down to about 50 degrees. So sometimes places like childcare centres will actually have the water at 45 degrees. So some other options that are readily available, the Babies Are Octopus floating bath thermometer. So that one there is floats along the top of the water and actually reads out what temperature the water is at. So it's got the 3 different levels. So there's a good level, there's a cold level, and there's a hot level as well. So it's easy for the caregiver to see. The Dream Farm spout cover up in the top corner there, that one can actually just be placed over the bath spout, and it prevents children from hurting themselves by hitting their body on the spout. The Hector tap protectors down in the bottom, those ones there sit over the tap and prevent the child turning it on and off. So I guess it's really important once again to be looking at using common sense as well. So things like after you turn the hot water off, run the cold water through for a little while as well, so the children aren't burning themselves. The one in the middle there is called a Madgi plug. So that one there can prevent the bathtub from overflowing. So basically you can set it at a level that is good, and then if the water goes over that level, it's actually going to release the water down the plug hole. So some more safety aids that are really important. The Dream Baby non-slip colour changing stickers, so those ones actually change to a white colour when the water is too hot, otherwise they're a bluey green colour. But they also provide some slip resistance, so you can stick them to the bottom of the tub or the bottom of the shower, and it will stop the child slipping over a slippery surface. And other things like rubber-backed mats. So once again, it's really important that the child isn't stepping out of a bathtub onto slippery tiles. So these ones here can be placed on the outside of the tub, and they're nice and heavy so that the child won't actually slip over the mat. So I guess one other really important thing to mention is cast protection. So there is lots of different things available that can be placed over limbs with casts on them to keep the cast dry. So it means that the child can still have a bath and you don't have to worry about them getting the cast wet. So some other equipment, these ones here are mainly for the caregivers, but it can also help enable the child to be a little bit more independent. So the top corner, there is a long-handled sponge. So obviously we're wanting to reduce the amount of bending and stretching that the caregiver is doing. So while they're using one of these, they can reach around the child to help clean the child without having to overstretch. Down the bottom corner, there is actually a kneeler. So these are often used in the garden, but I guess it's really important to think of if a carer is kneeling down next to a tub while they're bathing a child, they can pop their knees on the foam pad, so putting less stress through their knees, and then use the handles to get up. Simple ideas such as soap on a rope. So once again, enabling the child to be a little bit more independent if they can't hold the soap or they're prone to dropping the soap, but also keeping it in good reach for the carer while having their hands free. And things like your overbath organisers. So keeping the items at a good level for the child or the carer to be able to reach easily. So some toileting equipment. So we're going to look at a few toilet reducer rings. So obviously children are quite a bit smaller than adults, and toilet apertures can be quite big and scary for them. There's a few commercially available ones, so things like a universal toilet trainer. So some of them have an adult lid and a toddler lid, so you can actually fold one up for families who are using the same bathroom. But then some of them also provide a little bit more support. So the Bumbo trainer at the top corner there actually has a little bit of moulding to it, so it can help position the child in a good functional position, so keeping their legs apart and providing a little bit of support at the hips. The Columbia padded seat insert, so that one there has actually got a pummel and a deflector built in and provides a little bit of cushioning as well. So the toilet steps. So getting up onto the toilet can be quite scary for a young child. So these ones here provide the handles on the side, so they've got something to hold on to provide a little bit more security. But they've also got the reduced aperture size and the steps. So it's really important for children to have their legs supported, their feet supported when they're sitting on the toilet as well. So the one in the middle, the CAP educational toilet step, that one there actually has height adjustment in the platform and in the armrest as well. So you can adjust it for a good height for the child, and then it'll actually grow with the child. The other really good thing about this one is it's actually got a large surface area on the steps. So it gives the child room to turn around and sit down if they're a little bit unsteady on their feet. So these ones here are the next step up, so they're providing a little bit more support. So down the bottom we've got this child sprung rail. So those ones there are available in a couple of different configurations. One of them actually loops around the back as well. So this one here, the one down the bottom there has got a clip around the waist, a belt clip around the waist to help position the child down into the toilet. And there's also a step available as well to once again help support the child's feet. The Lecky Potty Trainer, so that one does from 1 to 10 years in 4 sizes. So you can see that's providing the next level of support. So it's providing the soft supportive backrest, the nice big secure armrest, the pommel and deflector in between the legs, and also a little bit of side support at the hips there. So the good thing about this one is it's on a mobile base, so it can actually be moved around and then moved on top of the toilet if need be as well. So these are a few positioning components that can be fixed to a toilet. So one of the ranges available is the Columbia Medical Toilet Support. So once again, it's available in 3 sizes and it goes from 5 years right up to adulthood. So that one there is available in quite a few configurations. So you can see in the top corner there's one that's providing support to the hips with the hip belt as well. There's the 4-point harness with the lateral supports and the high supportive backrest. And then there's also one for the feet and ankles, so you can strap the child's ankles into the foot supports. The Ripton toileting system, so that one does 2 years right up to adulthood. So there's quite a few different components. The one at the top there has got the backrest with some positioning belts. You can see the armrests. The toilet seat has actually got some contouring in there to help position the hips. And you can also get an abductor as well to help separate the legs. And the one down the bottom there you can see has just got the supportive bottom on and the armrest. So you can actually take away and add components as you need to. So mobile toilet chairs, so these ones are on mobile basis so they can be moved around as needed. So the Ripton Blue Wave toileting system, once again, is available in 2 sizes and does right from 2 years to adulthood. So that one there has got the head locks, the positioning belts, just like we've seen before. It's also got the pommel in between the legs, or the abductor, the ankle strap, and it's also got a tray. So for children who need to lean forward and put their arms on something, they can actually lean forward on the tray and do that. The Lecky toilet seat, so that one's available in 3 sizes, so from 2 to 14 years, and that's also got very similar positioning options. So you've got your nice supportive backrest, you've got a hip belt, an abductor, and the foot plate as well. So we also get a lot of inquiries about portable toileting solutions, so solutions that kids can take to shopping centres or school or when travelling and be able to use in the community. So things like your portable urinal, so there's no reason they can't be used for children. There are female adapters as well. The travel john, so the travel john's once again a portable urinal, so it folds up really small so it can be really discreet. And it's actually filled with beads that absorb the urine when they get wet and turn to gel, so it can't actually tip out. The portable bidets, so these ones here can be filled up at a tap with some water, and then they've just got a button that can be pressed. It's electronic that squirts out the water. So it can really help the kids who have trouble cleansing themselves after using the toilet. And the sit bath. So this one here can be popped in the top of the toilet, filled with water, and then used for cleansing. So some in-home toileting solutions. So these ones are a little bit bigger or a little bit less transportable and can be used in home. So the electric bidet, so these ones here are retrofitted over the top of the standard toilet, and they provide the child with a few different options. So they range right from cold water just for cleansing, right up to adjustable water temperature, massage, front and rear cleansing, and air dry as well. So there are quite a few different options. Some of them have a fixed remote component, so you press the buttons on either the left or right side to operate it. Some of them actually have a remote control, so it can be moved into a more functional position for the child, or sat on the lap, or operated by a caregiver as well. The hygiene slings, so these ones are obviously for children who are hoisted, so they've just got a nice cutout that allows easy access to hygiene. They're also made of a mesh, so they dry quicker and they're nice and easy to wash. So we're going to just briefly discuss a few toilet training options as well. So toilet training can be really quite scary for children. There's often numerous contributing factors to why a child might not be toilet trained. So simple things like thinking about the environment. So things such as night lights, they're readily available, they can be purchased anywhere. They can be plugged in along the hallway or to the entrance to the bathroom. So things like the Go Glow night light and torch, so those ones there are quite appealing to children. So they've got a nice night light and the removable torch option as well. So the Dream Baby auto sensor swivel night light, so that one there can be swivel around to focus on the most appropriate parts of the child, and then they automatically detect when the child walks past. The Johnny light down the bottom corner, so that one there is actually fixed inside the toilet bowl and lights up the child using the toilet at night, so it's a little bit more motivating for them as well. Other options include things like the Wee Target. So you can see down the bottom corner, they hang at the back of the toilet bowl for little boys who are learning to aim in the toilet. So they're normally black, but then when the urine hits the sensing pad, it actually comes up with a picture. So it's providing a little bit of motivation for the child. Things like the Vibralite 12 mini watches, so those ones there are designed for children, so they're a little bit smaller than some of the other vibrating options available. And they can be programmed with up to 12 alarms a day. So it can actually prompt the child to use the toilet at, say, morning tea, lunchtime, afternoon tea before they go home. The other really important thing to think about is if the child is using it at school, they might not want an audible alarm, they might want something very discreet. So those ones there have a nice little vibration, so it's enough to alert the child that they need to go without alerting the whole classroom. And things like your bed wetting sensors. So there's a few different options available. So some of them are on connected to underwear, and so they detect the child's urine straight away in their underwear. Some of them are attached to a mat. So as soon as the urine hits the mat, it will actually cause the alarm to go off. So there's a few different variations available, but they all have the same sort of idea behind them. So as soon as the urine hits the mat, it'll set off an alarm and wake the child. So they're used for night toilet training, but always best to be used in conjunction with the health professional's recommendation and support. So there are a few apps available on Android and iPhone that help in with potty training. So this one here is called the I Love Potty Training app, and it's from Joyce Berry. So this one here has a couple of different books available, so one for boys and one for girls, that can help step a child through toilet training. There's also a potty planning game, and you can also track their progress and get some tips and advice off this one as well. So I think it's less than $4 off the iTunes store. And if the child needs some more motivation, things like musical talking potties. So some of them play music, some of them make a flush sound. So it actually encourages the child to use the potty and the toilet. The Texel musical potty toilet training system, so that one sits inside the toilet and has a sensor pad that you can connect up to a radio. So it can play a motivating message from mum or dad, or it can play their favourite music. I guess one of the other really important things is that children can actually struggle with toilet paper. So things, very simple solutions such as the Kleenex Cottonelle wet wipe. So those ones can actually be mounted next to a toilet roll, and the child can use the wet wipes instead of the toilet paper. So they're going to make it easier and quicker for the child to clean themselves. Things such as a toilet roll holder with the flap over the top. So the flap over the top actually prevents the roll from being pulled out too quickly, so it slows down the release of the toilet paper. So for children who pull on the toilet paper and they tend to use the whole roll, that might be an option. And then of course things such as the bottom wipers. So the one up in the top corner over there is called the Buckingham toilet paper bottom wiper. So basically the toilet paper gets wrapped around the base section. The carer or the child can press in the top and then tuck the toilet paper in so it's secured, and then they go straight through the legs. So if a child's doing it themselves, they can go through the legs and wipe their bottom, but then again, if a carer is helping with that task, it's going to reduce that bending and reduce the personal hygiene concerns. And once they need to release the toilet paper, they just press that button and shake it off into the toilet. So I also thought I'd mention swim nappies because it's a very popular inquiry. So there's quite a few different types available. So one brand is the InHome, which has the adjustable sections around the waist and the legs. So you can actually tighten it up so that there's no leakage of any feces into the pool. There are a few different other types available though. So some are available with a swim nappy built into board shorts. So often this can be a little bit more age appropriate for your bigger kids. So shower trolleys. So there's quite a few different types of shower trolleys available. They can be quite big and cumbersome, but it does allow a child to be in a laying down position while being showered. So a couple of different options available are the 80-care mobile shower trolley. So that's available on electric or a hydraulic adjustment. So I guess that's important to keep in mind because the caregiver will be adjusting this up and down. The other option is the Argo Basic, but there is quite a few different brands available. Some of them are bigger than others. So change tables. So really important as the child starts getting bigger as well, that they're looking at using a supportive surface that's at a good height for the caregiver. So the DJ Junior change table, so that one there can be adjusted up and down, and you can also pull the sides up and down as required. That one's a freestanding model. Then you've also got your wall-mounted models as well. So ones like the Paramobility or the Pressolet. So they can be electric and some of them are manual. I thought a really important one to mention was the written support station. So this one here actually allows the child or the person participating in the transfer to be more active. So you can see that it folds flat against the wall through that middle picture there. You can see a nice image of that. But then it can also be adjusted through the range for lots of different clients. So it's all height adjustable. You can adjust the angle of the top section of the body support. And basically it allows the child to be more independent. So they can stand up, they can hold onto the handholds, they can pop their elbow in the elbow recesses and support themselves while being changed. So some of the benefits of this one is that they're in a more practical position, so it's easier for the carer to actually change them, but it's also a lot nicer for the client, a lot more, So these ones here might not be suitable for the home environment, but they might be considered in the school environment or a respite centre and things like that, because they are quite expensive. There is also a pivoting option. So basically the knee rests, which you can see in all those pictures, are removed. The support station is positioned close to a commode or close to the toilet, and it means the person can complete that transfer themselves. So they can be wheeled up to it, they can stand up into the support station, and then pivot onto the toilet. So the whole support station actually moves with them. So the other really good thing about these ones is actually encouraging the person to wait there. So they're getting all those benefits as well. So some mobile shower commodes. So these ones here have got the fixed backrest, so they're not adjustable. So there's quite a few different options available. So you can see there's a few different configurations between armrests and things like that. Often the armrest can be folded out of the way or moved out of the way. They're also available with a transit model or a self-propelled model. So if the client's able to self-propel themselves into the shower or into the toilet, they can do that independently. So the tilt in space mobile shower commode. So there's a few different types available here. Basically, it just allows the caregiver to recline the child into a better position. So good for children with pressure care issues as well. So there's a few different options. The K-Take Awana, so it's available in 3 sizes from 5 years right up to adult. You can see that's quite a moulded seat, and it's also got the belt available around the hip. The RD2 Flamingo, So that one there's got quite a bit more positioning, also a fair bit more head support with the side head supports available as well. And it's also got that front bar, so the client can actually hold on to that or lean onto that as needed. So that's available right from birth to adulthood. So the dookie, so from 2 years to teenage, so once again it's providing that firm foot support with the front bar as well. It's a little bit less contoured than the others. The seahorse, so that one there is quite contoured. You can get lots of different positioning belts available as well, like harnesses and things like that. You can also see on the bottom there, it's got the straps for the feet. So that one there has a separate headrest as well, which can also be adjusted. And the RE2 Swan, so that one there is a fairly simple one with just the deflector and abductor. So other showering equipment, so things, very simple solutions such as grab rails, which often aren't considered for children, but they can really help a child be independent, but also the caregiver as well if they need to get up from the floor or if they're hopping in the shower with the child as well. Things like your handheld showers can make a really big difference. So these ones here can be installed and then taken off the holder for the caregiver or child to use. So they've got a little bit more control over the water flow and the water direction as well. And things like your shower caps as well. So kids often hate getting the water in their eyes, so they can pop one of these shower caps on and they might be a little bit less resistant to having the water over their head. So the shower modifications, such as the handheld showers and the grab rails, they can be installed via the Minor Home Mods program. So this program actually differs depending on the area, but if you need the advice as to where to go to get these done, you can actually ring LifeTech and we can point you in the right direction. So basically this program will pay for the installation component of these devices and they only charge for the cost of the material. And of course, sometimes the simplest solutions are the best. So if you're aiming for independence for a child, things like the push-down soap dispensers means the child doesn't have to be able to hold onto the soap. So sometimes it's just about modifying the way that we do things. So looking at right at the start when we're actually purchasing these items. Things like the shower sandals, so it means they can clean their foot by themselves, so that's down in the bottom corner. So basically it's just a suction sandal that sticks to the bottom of the bathtub or the shower, and then the client or the child can just slide their foot through the bristles and it cleans the top and the bottom of their foot. So things like your loofahs, so having the loofahs are a nice big item to hold. So for a child with poor grip strength, they might be able to hold a bigger item. They can use one of these, and also your mitts for the shower. So some of them are like puppets, like the one I've got there, but the child can slide their hand up through it and get a better grip on it and then be able to participate in their self-care. And teeth brushing. So as we know, teeth brushing for children can be quite difficult. So there's a few different options available. So you can see in the top corner there's a child using a cup. So this one here straps onto their hand and then the toothbrush actually slides into a little pocket. So it means that the child doesn't need as good of grip strength to be able to actually hold onto the toothbrush. So common solutions such as building up the handles using foam or putty can actually work really well as well. But also using large grip handles. So things like the built-up electric toothbrush over the other side. That one there is an electric toothbrush, so it takes a lot less effort for the child to be able to brush their teeth. So once again, it's about looking at, is there a simpler way I can do this activity? Down the bottom, we've actually got an automatic toothpaste dispenser, so the child can pop their toothbrush in there and it will automatically dispense the toothpaste. So it might not be suitable for a younger child if mum and dad are happy doing it. But when a child gets older and might want to do that themselves, that might be a little bit more appropriate. And then, of course, changing the different grips of the toothbrush as well down the bottom there. So that one's got a section where you can actually slide your hand through, and it gives them a bigger surface to grip onto. So I'll just finish up with some funding options. So quite a few of the hygiene products, the bigger hygiene products, are available through medical aid subsidy schemes. So if you'd like more information on that, you can visit their website, which I've got listed there. And then also the minor and major home modification schemes. So minor is for things such as grab rails and handheld showers, and major is things like full bathroom modifications. So it's for the under 65 for children, and like I said, it's actually run through different organisations depending on the person's location. So in Townsville here, we at LifeTech run that, but I know it's different for every town. So if you'd like more information on that, feel free to ring LifeTech. Otherwise, like I said, you can hop on our inquiries line and send us an email or pop in and see us. Thank you.